for humanity to stand up in the Infowars and say, I don't know what's going to happen at the end of this, but you want to fight, you better believe you got one!
From the front lines of the information war, it's Alex Jones.
Welcome to this special broadcast, Infowars live coverage of Donald Trump's weekly address. He is expected to release the address in give or take about 8 minutes, and we will have live coverage for you, Owen, Shroyer, and LeeAnn Mcadoo. Before I go to LeeAnn, I just want to point this out because Donald Trump usually puts his weekly addresses kind of into a can, into a box where he keeps it focused on one thing and he really just hits one subject. And that's usually how it's been in the past. So I imagine how it will be today. It'll be curious to see what it is. But I just want to crunch these headlines and then close it with one headline and then bring LeeAnn Mcadoo on before we go to Donald Trump, President Trump. U.S. created 235,000 jobs in February versus the 190,000 expected. Again, record number of employment in February, 152,528,000 participate in rate rises. 152 million. We're going to try to get this on the doc cam for you here, if we can. I just pulled all these up before the crew. U.S. adds 28,000 jobs in manufacturing, 8,000 in government. Just so you guys can see these other headlines. I'm just crunching through these. Donald Trump boosting the economy, adding jobs. Strong U.S. job growth, rising wages set to stage for Fed rate hike. And actually, Munchkin again just asked the Fed to raise rates. Amazing. U.S. debt decreased more than $60 billion during Trump inauguration. I don't think I've ever seen a headline that said the U.S. debt decreased before in my life. Now we got one for Trump. And then the big whammy on Zero Hedge. The conflict within the deep state just broke into open warfare. And pretty much everyone is aware of this now. So with Donald Trump absolutely making hay right now for the economy, with the job market and everything, you still have the deep state trying to discredit him, take him down, delegitimize him, and eventually impeach him, folks. They want to overturn our republic. So I'm just curious if any of that's going to be addressed today in Trump's thing. But that was just amazing to wake up and see all those headlines, knowing the civil war that's going on in front of our eyes. LeeAnn Mcadoo.
Well, I think Donald Trump's kind of in a hard place right now with his Vault 7, everything that's been released, because he is, of course, in charge of the CIA and all of these intelligence agencies. So he's not really going to be able to just address them the way we'd probably come to know him to just speak about it on his Twitter. Now he really will have to be a little bit careful the way that he talks about what's been revealed in Vault 7. But what I think is so incredible, you're just talking about the deep state going into full warfare. The fact that what was revealed in Vault 7, they're immediately coming out trying to normalize the surveillance. And FBI Director James Comey comes out and says, you know what, even in your homes, you kind of have a little bit of, thinking that you're going to have a right to privacy. But even there, we know that the smart appliances are spying on it, and a judge can be compelled.
Basically.
Yeah, he said even your memories are open to government scrutiny.
Trump talked about the WikiLeaks in his speech. He referenced the WikiLeaks all the time. Is he going to reference Vault 7? I mean, this is the biggest one yet.
That's
crazy, especially considering he's like, oh, okay, look at the WikiLeaks with Hillary Clinton. Okay, now he comes out and he says, I'm being spied on. The Obama administration denies it while admitting they're spying on him, investigating him, magically talking out of both sides of their mouth. It gets more extreme. But now he's got the Vault 7 WikiLeaks. So he's going to be like, look, they're denying it. They're spying on everybody.
Right.
So I think that's where he might take. I don't know about this address today, but I'm just saying sometime down the road. He's got a speech coming up in Nashville next week, so maybe he addresses it then.
Right. Well, I think he's going to have to tread lightly here with what's been revealed. And we, the people, are going to have to pressure and put pressure on the government to say what is going on here. But as we see, they're immediately trying to get out in front of it and just tell us all it's normal. We're all being surveilled. We need to do this to protect from terrorists.
Yeah.
We told you we were going to use your smart appliances to spy on you. So
how about this? This is what we talked about. Oh, you know what? Donald Trump, is he the first one that's going to do anything about North Korea? He sends the B-52 bombers to South Korea. Alex talked about that. Of course, Alex Jones Show will be live today, 11 a.m.
Well, they just impeached their president there in South Korea. I just saw that in the news this morning. So impeach their president. We just sent in the B-52s. And then they're also putting Kim Jong-un is about to do another nuclear test. So there's constantly something going on over there.
Speaking of constantly something going on.
With the Russians, you know, they're not invading Korea this time, though.
Seriously, there's... Is this some South Korean news we're getting here, guys? I'm not... Well, speaking of constantly going on, another point where Donald Trump was attacked was the... Oh, yeah, there's the news. South Korea removes President Park Geun-hye. Now, let's get sidetracked again here, guys. So Malik Obama,
oh gosh,
gets on Twitter yesterday and tweets out what he is claiming to be Barack Obama's real birth certificate. Now, of course, I have no way of vetting this. This is an image that Malik Obama put out on Twitter. Hey, Malik, would you like to come on Infowars? I would love to talk to you about this and some of your other stuff.
It'd be neat if we can get President Obama's footprint now so we can test
or
that
maybe
biometric
Malik could bring
information.
this document to the Infowars studios if he has access to it. Maybe somebody can reach out to these doctors or something and see if this is real or not. But so this is it. Okay, so apparently he's born in Kenya, according to this alleged official document.
Well, why didn't this ever come up in the last 8 years?
What's that?
Why didn't this ever 8, 9 years? I mean, wouldn't they have known the hospital to go to?
Who knows?
I'm a skeptic.
But I had to bring it up because this is another point where you had Donald Trump getting attacked. Oh, they're not wiretapping you. He's making it up. He's crazy.
We need Obama to release his footprint.
Boom, Vault 7. Oh, Obama, you know, he probably wasn't even born here. Okay, fine, whatever. You want to bitch all day? Fine, he was born here. Boom, Malik Obama tweets out this birth certificate. It's like, what is going on?
Someone needs to get a footprint of President Obama. I think we can make that happen.
Can you actually put a infant footprint next to an adult footprint and learn anything from that?
I mean,
that's a thing.
They change a little bit, but that's why they put your baby footprint
I don't
there.
know why we can't. Why wouldn't we just find this doctor?
Exactly.
I mean, you got the doctors on here. I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
You got the supervisor. So if
the
you
hospital,
need to do anything, I don't know. That's just wacky, wild stuff. And meanwhile, you got Obama, quote unquote, hunkering down in Washington D.C., just fighting with the deep state.
He really set himself up there thinking that he was just going to come in and there was going to be a government coup, Trump would be impeached, and he would just be there ready to, take the helm. And then all the stuff got turned around on him.
So we are now 10 seconds away from 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern time. That's when Trump usually releases these weekly addresses. So we will stay tuned here. And it's interesting to me, he's done, I think, 6 of these or something. You can find them all on the White House's YouTube channel. And they get about 200,000 views average. So it's amazing to think the president's weekly address is getting 200,000 views on average, as it looks like they're about to go live, at least on the YouTube channel. Obviously, many different outlets. We play it for you here. All different outlets have it. They'll play it for you on the TV news, too. But my guess is if, Kim Kardashian did an address to her fans, it would probably get like 1 million views.
Billions.
And I think that that is something that needs to change. And we're kind of already seeing. Here we go.
In March, we celebrate Women's History Month, honoring the countless contributions that women leaders, scientists, and entrepreneurs have made throughout American history. We are a greater, stronger, and more just nation today because of women like Clara Barton, Susan B. Anthony, Harriet Tubman, and so many others. We honor them, and we recommit ourselves to a better future for every woman in America today. On my 50th day in office, I want to talk about an issue of paramount importance to families across our nation: health care. 7 years ago this month, Obamacare was signed into law over the profound objections of American people. Our citizens were told they'd have to pass Obamacare to find out what it was and how bad it was. Now we know that the hundreds of pages were full of broken promises. Americans were promised that Obamacare would bring premiums down $2,500 for a typical family. Instead, they've gone up by more than $4,000. Americans were promised that Obamacare would increase competition and provide them with more choices. Instead, the number of plans to choose from has plummeted, and I mean plummeted. This year, Americans in nearly 1/3 of all counties have only one insurer to choose from on the exchanges, or in effect, no real choice at all.
A monopoly.
Americans were promised that if they liked their health insurance and their doctors, they could keep them. Instead, millions of Americans lost the insurance and lost the doctor that they liked, and were thrust into a cold new reality of higher costs and less coverage. Through 7 long years of botched rollouts, soaring costs, cancel plans, and bureaucratic mandates, Americans have called out for relief. And relief is what we are determined to give them. I want every American to know that action on Obamacare is an urgent necessity. The law is collapsing around us, and if we do not act to save Americans from this wreckage, it will take our health care system all the way down with it. If we do nothing, millions more innocent Americans will be hurt and badly hurt. That's why we must repeal and replace Obamacare. House Republicans have put forward a plan that gets rid of this terrible law and replaces it with reforms that empower states and consumers. You will have the choice and the freedom to make the decisions that are right for your family. The House plan follows the guidelines I laid out in my recent address to Congress, expanding choice, lowering costs, and providing health care access for all. This plan is part of a 3-pronged reform process. In concert with the plan in front of Congress, I have directed Dr. Tom Price, our Secretary of Health and Human Services, to use his authority to reduce regulations that are driving up costs of care. We're also working on reforms that lower the costs of care, like allowing Americans to purchase health insurance across state lines. You've heard me say that many, many times during the debates. I encourage Democrats to work with us to improve the health care system for the American people. Also, we will be driving down the costs. We will deliver relief to American workers, families, and small businesses who right now are being crushed by Obamacare by increasing freedom, choice, and opportunity for the American people. Thank you very much.
So that was Donald Trump's weekly address, as usual. Very focused, very capsulized. He mentioned how it was National Women's Day and he was honoring women. I mean, how anti-woman of him. What a misogynist to start off his weekly address thanking women. Unbelievable there. And then he got into healthcare. He talked a little bit about that. I've got some bullet points here, LeeAnn, and let's just go back and forth here. And I'm sure you got some things you want to talk about. Again, I'm just shocked at how anti-woman it was. I just want to start off with that.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
He clearly has no respect for women.
Mm-hmm, right, and to just underscore how valuable women are to the society.
I mean, you want to know how little Donald Trump knows about women's history? He got up there and he mentioned Susan Anthony and Harriet Tubman. He didn't even mention Beyonce.
I know.
Unbelievable
Ridiculous.
That Donald Trump wouldn't mention Beyonce.
He's not in touch with the people and what the people want, and the contribution that Beyonce has made to our society.
I mean,
I demand a retraction of the weekly address.
He needs to at least add Beyonce. He might have to slip that in.
He needs to go on an apology tour.
I mean, you know that Beyonce, she got her own college class now.
That's right.
So
you too can be a Beyonce scholar.
No, but joking aside, I thought it was great. I thought it was powerful. It was quick. It was to the point. He honored women, and that's just another little thorn that we can stick in the side of the SJWs when they cry he's anti-woman.
Well, and
Are you on air right now with us, Rob? Okay. All right, so Rob just breaking in, letting us know that we've got this breaking article right now. Yeah, Paul Ryan, he came out yesterday. I'm trying not to be too harsh on him, but it's really hard not to be. I really love these photos that people are putting his face on a rat. It kind of is fitting. And he was on Tucker Carlson last night, or not last night, I think that was 2 nights ago. I think it was Wednesday night. And he was nervous as hell. I mean, you could tell. He's constantly swallowing. He's constantly twitching. There's one point where Tucker is talking. He just turns into a bobblehead. You can tell this guy is just, I don't know what his deal is. A lot of people think he's just a total rat, but this is just a breaking story right now. Let me pull this up.
Well, we want the other Paul. So we had Rand Paul on the show on Monday, and then, of course, right after that, Donald Trump tweeted out his support for what his friend Rand Paul was talking about on the Alex Jones show on Monday. But then here we have Paul Ryan, who is basically giving us this Obamacare light, and the story on Breitbart is that he's replacing those mandates with even larger penalties.
Oh
what?
My gosh.
That's exactly what the American people do not want. That's why Rand Paul is saying this is not good. We can't be hypocrites and tell everyone we need to pass it to find out what's in it. We did that already.
This is what ticks me off. You cannot force me to buy something. I hate how they force you to buy insurance.
And crappy insurance at that, because they took away your choices. The insurance companies don't have to give you the best value for your money. They don't have to compete with each other because, like President Trump said, in most states they have one choice. So you're basically forced to get the insurance that's provided, and that's it. You know, it's just like communism. Well, where are we?
And it feels to me, exactly. And it feels to me like there's this obsession with keeping healthcare in-house, keeping healthcare in the government. You know, Paul Ryan just feels like to me he wants to keep his little hands on that. Now, look, maybe he really thinks he's doing a good thing. Maybe he doesn't. Either way, guess what? That's not America.
He is in the pocket of the lobbyists and big pharma,
well,
these
he is a George
corporations.
Soros-funded politician, so absolutely.
Yeah, that's why he's got the smile on his face.
Never Ryan. Hashtag never Ryan.
Never
He's funded by
Ryan.
George Soros.
Exactly. That's who his buddies are. That's who he serves. He does not serve the American people.
Paul Ryan.
Rand Paul, and just like Donald Trump, tweeted out his support on Monday. He says Obamacare is a disaster, and he's been talking about this. And I was seeing on some of the news outlets there out on the TVs that President Trump is actually just considering letting Obamacare fail. Like, fine, you know, if you guys can't agree on something that's better for the American people, we'll just show that.
And that
we'll just
really
show you what actually happens.
That would really, it would actually be so devastating to the Democrats on their bill that, I mean, that's why he doesn't want it. I mean, it really would be so devastating. And the funny thing
But he'd be blamed
is,
for that as well.
the
He'd be blamed for what a
Actually,
failure it is because he didn't step in and do anything, even though he's tried to step in and do something.
There's a funny video I tweeted out with Donald Trump about that. Maybe we should play that just for a little anecdote. But it would really cost a lot of people their health care. But here's the interesting thing. The Democrats always use this number of 20 million people insured. And if you actually look into it, there were only 14 million people that were added to the insurance programs because of Obamacare, 11 million of which, or it might have been even 12 million, 11 million of which went straight to Medicaid. So this 20 million number they're putting out is a total farce. It's actually closer to 2 million.
Medicaid, which already existed.
I would love to actually see a Democrat break that 20 million number down. You notice how they never have?
Right.
They bring up one or two persons on the stage and they say, look, they're going to lose their health care. Okay, that's 2 people, buddy. You're claiming 20 million.
Yeah.
You cannot support those numbers.
I was actually seeing a tweet making its way around the web. Someone was actually saying that their conspiracy theory,
yes, thank you guys.
If you're a Russian, you know, if you're Putin and you want to destroy a country and like mass deaths or whatever, wouldn't you want to cut off people's insurance? And it's like, why would Putin go through all this like trouble? Seems really difficult route he'd be taking to kill off the Americans by cutting off their health insurance. That's, you know, really the only people. I mean, the only people that have it right now are the chronically ill.
Putin is telling Trump, get them jobs, get the Americans more jobs, cut their taxes. Do it, Donald. Do it. And Trump's over here like, oh.
No, it's Putin is telling Trump to repeal Obamacare. That's what he's doing with his time.
Here was a big one that Trump mentioned in his address today. He mentioned the healthcare monopoly that exists in many counties where you can only pick from one healthcare provider. That was huge.
Right. I mean, and then we saw just as the years have gone on, so many insurance carriers just dropping out of states altogether, which is what, where people end up with.
And there's all these lawsuits.
Option. Right.
It's completely broke. Obamacare has already failed.
Imagine if they have to compete across state lines. Are they going to give you better options? They're going to give you better prices. Who knew? Who knew?
You know what's scary about this whole overarching picture, which is why we love America, folks. Whether you think that this is all being done by design or not, okay, you've got a country that spends more money than any other country on healthcare, the United States. That same country is also getting more ill than any other country. We've got terminal disease breaking out, mental disorders breaking out, cancer breaking out, everything breaking out with all these vaccines that we have too, magically, and we pay more than any other country for healthcare. Okay, so where is this leading?
Terrible healthcare.
So where is this leading? Think about how scary. This is honestly what scares me, okay? If you continue down the same plane that we're on, America is eventually just gonna be a bunch of sick, unhealthy people, whether they're mentally ill, physically ill, whatever you have, cancer, diabetes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This continuing deterioration of our country's health. Now on the other side of it, what do you have now? You have medical tyranny. So essentially what's gonna happen if you continue down this plane, everybody's gonna be born sick and they're gonna be born right into the medical tyrannical system. That's the goal here.
Right.
Okay, and even if you don't think that was the plan, even if you don't think that was the agenda, just look at where we're headed. Look at how that is the path we're taking. Look at how that is the plane we're on. That is scary.
Well, and also if you consider the fact that people are expecting the disease rates, cancer and things to rise, a lot of people got into the healthcare industry and went to school thinking that healthcare was going to be the best bet if you want a good job in the future because everyone's going to need healthcare. Well, my sister works in a pretty large hospital system in Houston, and I know this is happening all over the country, but they're actually like we saw there, some people commenting that they're freezing raises, but they're also laying off thousands of people from this hospital system because they're not able to get the money back because the insurance companies aren't paying. I mean, It is a disaster.
And now they're involved in litigation too.
Yes, exactly.
Which makes it even harder to get that stuff done.
Right. I mean, it's a disaster.
It's a complete disaster, and it's going to actually hit those who they're claiming, all these people that have Obamacare now, those are the ones that are going to be hit first. So you're only taking the people you're claiming to be propping up with healthcare, you're only going to make it worse for them if you continue down this road. Now, my final bullet point here is he did say Holocaust in his address. I did hear him say Holocaust. I think he's going to absolutely hear it from that. I think of all the things he said, I think CNN, MSNBC are going to say, he said Holocaust?
He's making light of that term.
Oh my gosh.
We're the only ones that are allowed to take terms and misconstrue their meaning.
I say Hitler all day long, and I have Lady Gaga dressing up in Nazi outfits, but he said Holocaust. He said it.
Is he plotting one?
Did Putin tell him to say that? I need to know right now. I need to get the emails. So I would say that for Donald Trump's weekly address this week, he comes out, he shows that he respects women. He mentions how it was National Women's Day, and then he really hits into healthcare, which I think is, how do you even decide what's the biggest news right now? Like, how do you got Vault 7, you got healthcare, you got North Korea, you got the South China Sea, you got Fukushima. It's like, where do you stop? I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. You got Alex Jones coming on live.
Telling us our memories are open to government intrusion and scrutiny. Even what's in our heads is not even safe. You and I are going to be on the 4th hour today. So for more of Owen Shroyer and LeeAnn Mcadoo, be sure to tune in to that 4th hour. Much, much more news. We're going to get to everything Alex Jones isn't able to conquer in the Alex Jones Show, which is about to go live here in about an hour.
And folks, if you enjoy more coverage, if you enjoy the fact that we're going live more often, not just LeeAnn and I, but Alex as well, you know how to continue that expansion. Go to InfoWarsStore.com. We've got new breaking products. We've got new breaking health products almost every week now. It's crazy. There's the latest, Myco ZX. Activate your body's natural defenses. This is an amazing product where you have these organisms that you put into your body, and they literally form an atmosphere that makes it, almost impossible for the bad fungus to exist. So all those bad organisms that get into your, your gut and your intestines and everything, this has the correct organisms to go in there and create an environment that will make it unsustainable for all those bad organisms to go in there. This is just our latest breaking product. Introductory price is already off. You got the Trump-Pence 2020 Battle Cry shirt. Alex Jones said he wants to sell 1 million of these. And this is a nice kind of redesign from the Hillary for Prison shirt, and we turned it into a Trump-Pence 2020 shirt. Thank God we didn't have to make it another Hillary for Prison.
Can you imagine if we had to do these weekly addresses and it was Hillary Clinton we had to listen to? Oh,
I'd rather run into a rusty
She would have called
steak.
it her weekly lecture series. Oh, my. Ooh, thank God. Thanks, you, America.
Thanks for all your support. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for going to InfoWarsStore.com. Check out all the great products there. We will leave you with this compilation of epic social justice warrior meltdowns. We might have some of those here in Austin with South by Southwest.
Epic meltdown.
Let's fire that video. Thanks, guys.
Is being dumbed down. We're being chemically drugged in the food and water and air. That's now on record.
90% of children in this country are getting this huge number of vaccinations. And despite the fact that we have this compelling evidence that it is harmful to the developing brain, we have healthcare officials who are totally ignoring this.
Once again, they have no argument. See, look. See, now, this is the whistling thing.
Death to the fascist insect who preys upon the blood of the people!
The Rockefeller Foundation and Carnegie Endowment for International Peace were, with tax-exempt dollars, funding leftist propaganda operations aimed at changing America through the brain, not the battlefield.
I didn't realize this was live, but all you people.
If only they put as much energy into having an actual argument as they did smashing Starbucks windows.
If you follow him through, you're going to see him looking more and more miserable. And then you're going to see him at the end. He's holding his left arm out, up like this, clenched fist, little hair, very unhappy, and his t-shirt says, Our Lady of the Benevolent Dictatorship, One World Global Training Corps.
Yes, I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
The frogs are going to kill all of us.
When we look at vaccinations, this country vaccinates children at a rate higher than anywhere in the entire world. They get something like 46 different antigen exposures before they start school. When you over-vaccinate, it interferes with the development of the brain. And then the child has difficulty learning.
Every white person in the United States of America was socialized in a country that is racist.
They become behavioral problems. And their brain cannot develop normally.
We're selling a product, DNA Force, that is the very best nutraceutical that we can produce. Dr. Group, you took years for you to develop DNA Force for us.
It's been something that I've been working on for a long time, Alex, because I think it's very, very important. What the aging process is when the cell replicates, we lose a little bit of our telomeres. Telomeres are the little cups on the end of our chromosomes.
And when it runs out, you start dying.
We chose the PQQ because it has over 175 different clinical trials. It's one of the most effective substances in the world. It works like an antioxidant. It works to repair nerve growth factor.
So this is a formula to deliver the maximum amount. It's in powder form.
We have so many 5-star reviews. I take this. This is the product that I take.
InfoWarsLife.com, and the profit we make, we fight the globals. We fight the New World Order. Secure your DNA Force today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. This is one of the biggest secrets out there. The missing link of why our ancestors, whether you were in Africa or ancient Albion, which is England today, why our ancestors were so much stronger. I mean, there are huge archaeological reports, all sorts of anthropology studies, you can look them up for yourself, that show that humans, just an average farmer of 10,000 years ago in England, was stronger than Olympic athletes today. In the final equation, everyone knows our modern society has lost its vitality. The sperm counts are down like 90%. People are falling apart. They're totally depressed. They're unhappy. What is going on? Every ancient culture was obsessed with what I'm about to reveal to you. Today we call it bone broth, and for thousands of years our ancestors enjoyed its benefits before it became lost to our modern diets of processed junk. That's why I'm so excited to announce the product that is undoubtedly the jewel in the crown of Infowars Life products. Caveman. We lost our vitality because we just ignored the ancient traditions. Everyone knew that you used all the parts of the animal. You used the skin to cover yourself or for shelter. You used the meat for sustenance, the fat for cooking, but you used the bones for strength. We are now introducing Caveman by InfoWarsLife.com, the ultimate in true paleo nutrition with bone broth, turmeric root, chaga mushroom, and 7 total primal superfoods in a single great tasting formula. The bone is so amazing. From the outside structure full of minerals and key cofactors to the marrow that produces the blood for the body. This is the engine of the life essence. I've made a lot of important points here, but this is the one you need to research for yourself because it's so key. High-quality bone broth helps support healthy muscles and connective tissue, while the active compounds in turmeric do battle on the cellular level and help fight free radicals. And collagen is essential to aid healthy tendons, ligaments, and muscle tissue. This is an absolute win-win. You get an amazing product produced right here in America. You support Infowars and all we're doing to promote freedom and the restoration of our republic and promotion of freedom worldwide. The journey towards better health and giving our bodies these amazing compounds that God created starts at InfoWarsLife.com. 3 years in the making, incredible research, and the very best ingredients. I'm Alex Jones, and I may not be a caveman, but compared to these trendies out there in the street, I'm as close as it gets. Join me at InfoWarsLife.com and get your caveman formula today.